Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mr. Cobalt, and in this video I'm going to be going over how to convert between moles and particles. So in this case we're going to have to use Avogadro's number because Avogadro's number is the number of particles in 1 mole. So if we're converting between moles and particles, then we need to use that number. So I'll write that up here. So we're not going to use molar mass for these problems. We're going to use the fact that 1 mole of anything is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. And that's particles. So again, it's like a dozen, right? If I say I have a dozen eggs, then I have 12 eggs. Unless it's a baker's dozen, then I got 13. But if we have a mole of eggs, then that means I have 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd eggs. If I have a mole of people, that's going to be 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd people. So it's whatever you have that you're counting. So in this case, for problem number 1, they're asking us to calculate the number of copper atoms. Atoms is a particle. And that we're going to figure that out in 2.45 moles of copper. So they're giving us moles of copper, and they want us to find the atoms, the number of copper atoms. So we're going from moles to particles. So let's start this by starting what they gave us. They're giving us 2.45 moles, and we can abbreviate that MOL, moles of copper, Cu. We're going to put that over 1, and then we're going to multiply by the conversion factor. Since we're trying to go from moles to particles, we're going to use 1 mole is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd particles. So since I have moles on top, I'm going to put moles of copper on the bottom. So 1 mole of copper, 1 mole of copper goes on the bottom, and then the 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd goes on top. 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. We're going to extend this. 23rd atoms of copper, because copper exists in the form of atoms, not molecules. So now moles of copper cancels out. I have atoms of copper on the top. That is what they want. So I'm done with the conversion factors. So all I need to do is multiply and divide. So I'm going to multiply across the top, divide across the bottom, and I'll get my answer. And that answer is 1.52. 1.52. I have other digits. 39 times 10 to the 24. 39 times 10 to the 24. Okay, so, and then we can't forget atoms of copper. So there's my answer my calculator gave me. And again, for those of you who need to know how many sig figs to keep, then again, with the regard to multiplication and division, you have to know what the rule is. And the rule is that your answer should have the same number of sig figs as the measure with the least number of sig figs. So here I have 2.54, that's 3 sig figs. Here I have 4. 3 is less than 4, that's the smallest. So I can only keep 3. So I'm going to keep the 1, the 5, the 2. Cut it off after the 2. Remember, the next number after your last number is going to be the one that determines if you round up or not. So the 3, that's less than 5. So that means I keep the 2. So my final answer is 1.52 times 10 to the 24th atoms of copper. So that is my answer. Okay, what about problem number 2? Problem number 2, we're given a silver ring and we're told that it contains 2.80 times 10 to the 22nd power silver atoms. So it contains this amount of silver atoms, and they're asking how many moles of silver does it contain. So they're giving us atoms of silver and they want us to find moles. So we're going in the opposite direction. So let's start with what they give us. So they give us silver atoms. So we're going to write 2.80 times 10 to the 22. And that's silver. Ag is silver atoms. So Ag is the symbol of silver. We're going to put that over 1. Now we're going to multiply by a conversion factor. So they want us to get to moles. So we're going from atoms to moles. We're going from particles to moles. So again, we're going to use our equation here. We're going to use this as a conversion factor, Avogadro's number. So since I have particles on top, atoms, I'm going to put particles on the bottom. So here I have 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd particles. So that's going to go on the bottom. So 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. And again, that's going to be atoms of silver. And I'm going to put 1 mole of silver on top. So atoms of silver cancel out. Now I have moles on top. That's what they're asking for. They want to know how many moles of silver. I got moles of silver on top. I am done. So now all I need to do is multiply across top, divide by what's on the bottom, and I get my answer. And that is, give me a moment, 0.046. I'll write it down here. That's going to be equal to what did I say? 0.0464. I got a few more digits. 96 moles of silver. So there's my answer. Now again, for those of you who need to know how to present this in the proper number of sig figs, again, the rule is when you're multiplying and dividing, your answer should have the same number of sig figs as the measurement with the least number of sig figs. So we got a measure here and a measure here. So 6.022 that's 4 sig figs. Here 2.80, that 0 at the end is significant because of the decimal point. So this is 3 sig figs. 3 is less than 4, so that means I should have 3 sig figs here. Again, these zeros are not significant, so I'm not going to count those. So we got 1, 2, 3. Cut it off here. And again, the next number after the last significant digit, that one determines if you round. So if it's 5 or greater, then you round. And I have a 9, so I'm going to round. So that becomes 0.0465. Let me get that out of the way. 465 moles of silver. So that is my final answer. And so that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, if this helped you in any way, then please, by all means, like the video, share the video, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. When you do, make sure you hit that notification bell and click all so you can be notified by all the videos I put out. And finally, put a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Ask me questions. If you have an idea of a video, something you want me to cover, then please, by all means, write it down. Let me know. I'd love to do that for you. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.